Hey, it's Greg from Cutting Edge Stencils and welcome to another episode of Home Talk. On today's episode, I'm going to transform this wall using Cutting Edge Stencils Weeping Cherry Stencil. Stick around, I'm going to start right now. First thing we need to do with this project is to mask off either your crown molding or your ceiling. We're going to have the stencil drop from the ceiling down on the wall, so grab some low-tack blue painter's tape and mask it off. Okay, for this project, we're going to be using this beautiful stencil from Cutting Edge Stencils. This is a Weeping Cherry stencil. It's absolutely beautiful. We're going to secure that with a little bit of spray adhesive, repositionable spray adhesive. We'll spray this on the back, do it outside so you don't smell or breathe these fumes. And we're going to be using these paints right here. Benjamin Moore Navajo White Ben is our base coat. We're going to use a little raw umber from Folk Art, a little light pink from Folk Art, and bright magenta. Let's get started. Okay, we've got our spray adhesive on the back of the stencil and a few pieces of tape to help secure it. Now it's time to position the stencil. So we're going to go up to the crown molding here, and we're going to go a little bit above with the vines. It's going to be a little bit above the crown molding here, like so. And then we'll lay that flat. Spray adhesive's doing its job perfectly, and we're ready to stencil. Okay, we've got our paints laid out. We're using these little trays here. They're really handy. Also, we're going to be using 1.5 inch stencil brushes from Cutting Edge Stencils. These are beautiful professional brushes for the cherry blossoms, and then for the branches on the tree, we're going to be using this 3/4 inch brush and the raw umber. Okay, we have to load our brush here. The way we do that is we just dip the tip into the paint, just a little bit like that, and then we swirl it like so. It's called paleting the brush, which evenly distributes the paint into the tips. Then I'll come over here and just knock a little bit off, and we've got the perfect loaded stencil brush. Okay, got my loaded stencil brush with a little bit of raw umber on it. I'm going to start with the branches. Now, I'm going to bend the stencil a little bit into the crown molding like this so I can get right in there. So just use your fingers, press it in, and then you can kind of pounce with a vertical motion and get it close to the edge of the ceiling or the crown molding, and then just lightly come down and introduce this raw umber color to where the branches would be. Very simple, doesn't have to be perfect. Try not to get too much on the blossom area. Okay, we do this stencil in layers. What we want to do to achieve this beautiful organic look is to put a light color in the background first. We have these two different colors here that we'll be using for the blossoms, but we're going to use the light pink color as kind of like a faded shadow in the background, and then we're going to do another stencil on top using the dark magenta color. I'm going to use a pouncing and swirling motion to do the blossoms. So I'm going to hold the stencil down, pounce straight up and down. Gives me a great effect. Also, you can do a circular motion like this. Works great. Either one of those techniques is a fine way to stencil these blossoms. You can have variation in opacity. Some areas can be a little lighter, some areas can be a little darker. That's only going to make it look that much better. All right, we finished this stencil plate up here. We're going to continue in these colors around the entire room, and then we'll come back and do the darker magenta on top. All right, let's see what it looks like. Okay, I finished the first process, done in the light pink. This is my background or shadow area. Now I'm going to do the foreground in this bright magenta color. So we're going to place our stencil, but don't place it in the exact same place as you did the first one. You want it to be organic and you want it to move slightly left or right. So let's do that now. I'm going to place this. I'm going to have it slightly off from my previous or background stencil. And then we're going to stencil this in magenta. want to extend this branch here, so I'm going to use this section of the stencil only just to extend this branch. So I'll put this like so, and then we'll stencil only this area here. Okay, when extending or using only a portion of the stencil here, there's areas that I don't want to stencil, like these blossoms here, because I'm just doing this section. So you can take a piece of plastic or a piece of cardboard and just hold it over the area that you don't want to stencil, like that, and then stencil the area you want to paint. And then you can pull your shield down, and you get this beautiful extension. Okay, we're going to want to fill in this area here at the crown molding. So I'm going to take the stencil and I'm going to place it in just that area where I want to fill it in. And then I'm just going to stencil this in. Okay, what we want to do is we want to take some of these branches and we want to extend them up underneath the crown molding so the illusion continues. So I just took a little artist brush and I took some of my branch color, slightly diluted it with a little water so it flows nice and easy, and I'm just going to extend these just like this. Just come in, add the little bit of the branch so it looks like it continues right up underneath. It's time to unmask. Wasn't that an easy project? So simple, great for beginners. All it takes is a great stencil, a little bit of know-how, and you can produce an accent wall just like this. Thanks for tuning in to Home Talk, and we'll see you next time.